Meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court dropped two major decisions impacting LGBTQ rights and student debt relief. Justices struck down President Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 each for millions of borrowers across the country. In a 6-3 decision, the majority said the Biden administration overstepped its authority. The administration is now shifting focus, instead attempting to forgive debt through a new plan. ABC's M. Wynn has the details tonight.
Tonight, President Joe Biden blasting the Supreme Court for rejecting his $430 billion federal student loan relief program.
Oh, these Republican officials just couldn't bear the thought of providing relief for working class, middle class Americans.
The 6-3 decision split between conservatives and liberals, delivering a major defeat for Biden's plan, which would have wiped out up to $20,000 in debt for millions of borrowers. The White House had approved the plan under the HEROES Act, but Republican states pushed back, accusing the administration of executive overreach, arguing it was unfair to people who already paid back their loans or didn't go to college because of cost. The High Court agreed with the states, with Chief Justice John Roberts writing the Education Secretary did not have the power to rewrite that statute from the ground up. Justice Elena Kagan responding, this court today decides that some 40 million Americans will not receive the benefits the plan provides because, so says the court, that assistance is too significant.
The recent COVID-19 payment pauses presented a life raft for my wife and I. As like many others, we faced the uncertainty of careers and found ourselves having to live as a one-income household.
Now Biden is vowing to try again with a new debt relief plan, pivoting his sights to the Higher Education Act, which can compromise, waive, or release loans, though it's not clear who might get loan relief or how much. 26 million Americans had already applied for the original plan. The president also announced anyone who misses a student loan payment in the first 12 months after payments resume in October will temporarily not be at risk of default or have their credit harmed. And Biden added the administration has finalized a new repayment program that lessens the amount people need to pay each month.
No one with an undergraduate loan today or in the future, whether from a community college or a four-year college, will have to pay more than 5% of disposable income to repay their loan.
M. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
And even before today's ruling, the payment pause was set to expire 60 days after June 30th, which is August 30th. The U.S. Department of Education previously confirmed student loan payments will be due again in October, with interest kicking in September 1st. This effectively restarts loans that have been frozen since March of 2020. And the court's other landmark decision will now allow certain businesses to refuse some services to LGBTQ+ people or anyone whose message they might oppose. The decision is leaving many concerned about the potentially sweeping ramifications. The majority opinion sided with a Colorado web designer who refused to work on same-sex weddings. She says it violated her First Amendment rights. But in dissenting opinions, justices raised concerns the decision threatens to allow the exclusion of other groups from many services. The Family Foundation in Kentucky called the ruling a milestone victory, saying the court, quote, rightfully reaffirmed that the government can't force people to promote something that is not true and say a message that they don't believe, end quote. Meanwhile, Chris Hartman with the Fairness Campaign said, quote, on the last day of Pride Month, the U.S. Supreme Court has issued one of its worst opinions ever against LGBTQ Americans. For the first time, the court has granted businesses a constitutional right to discriminate against a protected class, endangering and further marginalizing the LGBTQ community.